Good afternoon, everyone. A very warm welcome to the magnificent Barony Hall on this special day, a day of celebration for you, our graduates, and your family, friends, and supporters. We're delighted to be joined here today for this ceremony from people across Scotland, across the UK, and indeed across the world, on what is one of the most important and indeed enjoyable days in the university calendar. In a short while, each of our graduates will, when their name is called out, be invited to come up onto the stage where I will cap them, thereby conferring them with their degree. This is an ancient, public and symbolic rite of passage, a proud, secular tradition stretching back to the Enlightenment when Strathclyde was founded. Upon being capped, our graduates will become graduates of our great university. And once the ceremony is finished, you're invited to join us for refreshments at a reception at our Learning and Teaching building, which is just up the hill here. But before we begin, let me say this to you. Please savor this moment. And to the families, friends, and supporters gathered here, do not feel the need to restrain yourselves when showing your appreciation for our graduates, short of coming up onto the platform here, please. I now declare the ceremony formally open. Please welcome Dr. Stuart Fancy to present our Alumnus of the Year, Colin Gray. Stuart and Colin will be followed by Professor David Hillier, who will present our students.
My Lord and Chancellor, I have the honour to present to you Colin Gray. This university is proud of the graduates it sends out into the world to make their contribution, prepared by their education here at the University of Strathclyde. Of all of these hundreds of thousands of graduates who've left this university and made a difference to the world, Colin Gray is distinguished not just by his own contributions, about which I will tell you a little, but also by being one of our better travelled former students of law. Colin's journeying started in Perth, where he was born and brought up and where he was a pupil of Perth Academy, and where he resolved early on that he would become Scotland's preeminent journalist, getting started on that ambition by joining the CBBC Newsround Press Pack, an organisation for child journalists still thriving today, I was very pleased to see. Like many ambitious and well-qualified school leavers, Colin visited several of Scotland's universities to see which one would suit him. And, like many of the more discerning, ambitious and well-qualified school leavers, he chose this university, not just for its academic excellence, but also because of its friendly, welcoming, practical nature. Having been welcomed into the university, Colin set about making the most of his time here. He comprehensively explored the academic opportunities of the university, starting in law, moving to social sciences, and then returning to law, all the while taking courses from any corner of the curriculum that he could, including 3 years of Spanish, a flexibility he appreciated at the time, and certainly in the case of the Spanish language, benefited from since. Colin also explored extracurricular activities, pursuing that journalistic drive that was with him early on by writing a regular opinion column for the Strathclyde Telegraph. Now, keeping with the mobility theme and having told you that Colin moved from one course to another, he finally and very happily settled in law and graduated LLB in 2006. Keeping agile, he fulfilled his original dream of being a journalist, working in newspapers in Scotland for a year or two before his interest in the wider world took him into the diplomatic fast stream, joining the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, as it was then, in 2008. Equipped by now not just with his excellent Strathclyde education but also with a diplomatic passport, his initial roles in the UK diplomatic service really accelerated his travelling. Colin began his career in the embassy in Seoul in the Republic of Korea as head of communications. Moving on and up and taking another jump around the globe, Colin became deputy ambassador in Lima in Peru in 2017. Now, few of us in this room have been diplomats, so most of us can only imagine the responsibility and stress of, for example, organising the visit of the UK's Foreign Secretary to Peru. But all of us have been children, and so will understand Colin's delight in being asked to present Paddington Bear with a jar of presumably Scottish marmalade in front of the world's television media. Having learnt the national language of Korea, and thanks to those 3 years of Spanish squeezed into his time at Strathclyde already being fluent in the national language of Peru, Colin returned to the UK, to posts in London supporting the UN and the EU in various capacities to broaden his fluency in the international language of high-level diplomatic activity. A long-time student of American politics, Colin was particularly delighted to be posted to the UK's consulate in Atlanta in 2021, and then in 2024, to his delight, he landed the very significant secondment as head of the Scottish Government's representation in the United States, leading a team in the British Embassy in Washington, DC. Active in our alumni community and engaged with the university in a variety of ways, Colin is a very proud Strathclyder, and we are proud of him. As an example of how much of a Strathclyder he is, it was only the necessity of accompanying the First Minister during the recent Tartan Week parade in New York that kept Colin from marching with the Strathclyde contingent. I'm sure you'd join me in applauding his sense of duty, but also in sympathising with his disappointment. In conclusion, then, Colin exemplifies our values. He is people-oriented, he is ambitious, he's collaborative, innovative and bold, and he has exemplified those values and flown the Strathclyde flag all around the world since his education here in the early 2000s. We are proud of him. We are glad that he chose to study here at Strathclyde and grateful that he misses no opportunity to support the university and those who follow him. It is with great pleasure, therefore, my Lord and Chancellor, that I ask you to present the Alumnus of the Year Award to Colin Gray.
Well, I didn't drop the trophy, so that's the first part done successfully. My Lord and Chancellor, graduates, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's great to be back. It's a tremendous honour to stand here today as the University of Strathclyde's Alumnus of the Year. I will confess, and this may be lost on some of the current students, hopefully there are some fellow alumni in the hall, but when I was invited back to the barony at Strathclyde, I laboured under the misapprehension that that was to the Union Bar of the same name, which is where I confess I spent most of my university days. Alas, even in the absence of 50p pints of lager, I can assure you I am really happy to be here today. Now, when I graduated in this place 19 years ago, I couldn't have imagined that I would be back to address others who have had the privilege of studying at this extraordinary university. My first experience of this place of useful learning was on September the 11th, 2001. Now again, many graduates today would not yet be born, but that was a day, with the heinous terrorist attacks on the United States, that arguably changed the course of US foreign policy, potentially UK, and international relations, a day of profound and lasting impact. It's the sort of date where everyone remembers where they were, and I was here. As Stuart said, I scraped my way through some decent grades at school. I had looked at a few universities, been to a few open days. But that day, as I toured this campus, spoke to staff and students in the University Centre, and yes, admittedly, rubbed my hands together at the prospect of a 10-storey student union, 10 floors of fun, I was reliably informed, I knew that this was the place I wanted to spend perhaps the most formative years of my life. It was and is a university of proud history, but always looking forward. An institution that lives up to its motto of useful learning, a place of warmth and welcome, befitting of what I think is the greatest city in the world. As Stuart noted, my degree was in law, a discipline built on precedent, on debate and argument, on, as former President Obama put it, the application of narrow rules and arcane procedure on an uncooperative reality. I'm a pragmatist and not a theorist. I respect history, but am predisposed toward the contemporary. And in Strathclyde, I found my perfect match. For whilst there was plenty of night studying the arcane rules, Lord knows tax law is enough to drive anyone to therapy, my studies at Strathclyde were grounded in the practical and the contemporary. As something of a global affairs and political geek, I was drawn to international law in particular. That aftermath of 9/11 and how the actions of states and not just individuals are regulated or constrained, it was a subject of great interest to me. And I think back now to the lively debate with Professor Therese O'Donnell, who still supports and terrifies students in equal measure to this day, I'm assured, on US foreign policy, on NATO action in Kosovo, on the seemingly intractable conflicts of the Middle East. But here's the point. I did so as a young guy in a basement on Cathedral Street in Glasgow, never thinking for one day that I'd be talking about some of those very same subjects in the UN headquarters in New York, in King Charles Street in London, or, somewhat more precariously, at a dacha outside Moscow with Russian diplomats, but that's a story for another day and another vodka. But if graduates will allow me a rare piece of unsolicited advice, it's this: aim high. You leave Strathclyde Business School armed not just with a credential, but with the skills, the connections, and competences that can take you beyond any one city or country. Now, I say that, but one could argue when I graduated, I aimed low. Having received a law degree from this prestigious place, I decided that lawyers weren't quite immoral enough for me and that I would go and work as a tabloid newspaper journalist. The furthest I got was to the back of a photographer's car, lurking in some back street in Fife on a Friday night, waiting to pounce on some misbehaving politician. For a year or so, I covered crime and scandal, showbiz and style, a far cry from international justice. But I did learn to bring people into my trust, to ask the difficult and penetrating questions, to write, hopefully, with some coherence and brevity, skills I still use today. So my next reflection, if I can, is this: the paths that we take are winding, and all the tools that we collect along the way are of value. Don't be tied to one goal or expectation. Don't be thrown if you end up doing something different. Don't be thrown by a diversion. Embrace new opportunities and rest assured that much like your studies here at Strathclyde, what you learned yesterday and today will serve you tomorrow. It seems odd on a day of celebration to talk about failure, but I didn't always get the marks that I hoped for. I didn't get into the Foreign Office at the first time of asking. I've been an unsuccessful candidate for more jobs than I care to remember. So my final reflection is this: some failure, even for brilliant Strathclyde graduates, is inevitable. Learn from it, persevere. Resilience and determination and failure itself are so important. Incidentally, I was looking for a quote to substantiate this point, but in perfect fashion, I failed. So let me conclude by saying that through these inevitable failures, the winding paths, and the grand dreams, I'm proud of my achievements. I've briefed foreign secretaries and first ministers. I've managed crises and turmoil from Korea to Peru. It does seem to follow me around somewhat. I even drafted remarks for Her late Majesty the Queen and inserted a reference to Strathclyde that she used. It's true. Diplomacy is a global journey of discovery, analysis, and connection. But for all my globetrotting and gallivanting, my real journey began here at the University of Strathclyde. So for all those experiences and achievements, coming home, for that's what this place is, to receive this incredible award tops the lot. So thank you all for having me, for allowing me to be part of your day. And to the students, may your own paths be paved with excitement, adventure, and opportunity. Thank you very much.
My Lord and Chancellor, in the name of the University and by the authority of Senate, I present to you these students. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy for Research in the Hunter Centre for Entrepreneurship, Amy Hislop Mavroudis. Aniela Monica Kuhl. For the degree of Master of Science in Business and Management, Prajakta Uday Chavan. Lalit Dawan. Mokshith Sainath Reddy Gayanamola. Hema Laxman Singaradi. Alistair Lo Li Yao. In International Management, Niharika Bandari. For the degree of Master in International Business with a Modern Language, Emily Grace Ayubi. Emily Sharman Baxter. Paula Callahan. Neve Cassidy. Vanessa Cullen. Rachel Catherine Isabella Grace. Melissa Greaves. Matthew Allen Lang. Carla Valeria Luque. Callum John Lynch. Melissa McMillan. Eleanor Martin. Elise Holly McFadden. Thomas Frederick McGee. Neve McGuinness. Liam McGlade. Carl McGrath. Niamh Ruth McIver. Jessica Catherine McKee. Oscar McGregor Milne. Lauren Nicole Ollier. Megan Katie Ollier. Ailey Porter. Kristen Emma Reid. Nadezhda Stelianova Stefanova. Emily Mary Wright. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Accounting and Business Law, SBS, Kieran Patton. In Accounting and Finance, Valentina Loredana Sandhu. In Business Enterprise, Ishan Bararia. Ben Flanagan. Hannah Isabel McKenzie. Puti Fatiha Amani Rashid. Matthew Taylor. Andrew Edward Vaughan. In Business Enterprise and Business Analysis and Technology, Eldon Jake Wigram. In Business Enterprise and Business Law, Michael Feeney. In Business Enterprise and Economics, Cole Aros. In Business Enterprise and Finance, Janak Vipul Parekh. In Business Enterprise and Human Resource Management, Ryan Daly. In Business Enterprise and Marketing, Asad Ahmad. Harry Frederick Crawford Crawley. Eva Donnelly. David Noble. Omar Asif Patel. Felix Joseph Wilson. In International Business with the Modern Languages, Marcella Vincenza Cellini. Olivia Dollard. Alexander Lewis Robertson. In International Business with Business Analysis and Technology, Elisa Cook. George Andrew William Doyle. Frederick Gray. Andrew Jack. Jessica Kelly. Chloe Laverty. Lewis McKenzie. Thomas Morris. Jeffrey Ogbomo. Lewin O'Hare. Irina Shipat. Hamish Robert Woods. In international business with business enterprise, Laura Jane Bertram. Rory Chisholm. Lara Helena Efthymiou. Keir Frame. Evan Taylor Morrison. Sammy Tandon. In international business with economics, Callum Lallor. Ailsa Maeve Rowlands. In international business with finance, Matthew Alistair Black. Matthew Harry James Bryce. Jamie Ross Burgess. Africa Nena Chinidu de la Morena. Alexandra Helen Gilchrist. James Ian MacLeod. In international business with hospitality and tourism management, Megan Ashmead. Amy Beckwith. Amelia Jane Brown. Amy Dalrymple. Emma Louise Gagey. Anna Holly Kindness. Sophie Smith. Amy Catherine Wilson. In international business with human resource management, Kearney Adam. Emma Kathleen Crumlish. Olivia Karolina Dziwiecka. Cara Fagan. Gabriella Olivia Forbes. Lauren Forsyth. Jennifer Gow. Emma Hart. Niamh Shearer. In international business with marketing, Chloe Best. Struan Andrew Ian Campbell. Farron Topper Cleland. Heather Cook. Leanne Catherine Dennis. Charlie James Donaldson. Amy Denise. Katie Ann Hislop. Katie Rose Lawson. Luke Peter Livesey. Alex McMichael. Mia McCann. Adele McClory. Kieran McClure. Molly McHugh. Erin McNeely. Grace Miller. Cara Elizabeth Catherine Murray. Quali Marie Nugent. Paul O'Hagan. Archie Ryder. Connie Elise Shepherd. Catherine Isabella Simpson. Julia Isabella Shudlinska. Freya Eve Wilson. Abby Gum Ling Wong. In Marketing and Psychology, SBS, Morgan Amstad. For the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration, Riyad Abbasi. Adina Asan. Ali Saif Al Mawali. Amira Atika Binti Badru Hidsa. Michael Callan. Louise Chan. Adele Drummond. Ben Houston. Lara Jemison. Noor Aisha Binti Rosmadi. Jadzing Zheng. For the degree of postgraduate diploma in business and management, Aisha Ali Asghar Shahid. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in International Business with Hospitality and Tourism Management, Monica Del Castillo. For the degree of Master of Science in Business and Management, Adin Rahul Suresh Babu.
Well, let me extend a warm welcome to you once again on this very special day, which marks the culmination of many months of hard work and dedication for our new graduates. First and foremost, I'd like you to join me in offering our heartfelt congratulations to our graduates of 2025 for their collective achievements and success with a round of applause. Well done. All of our graduates here today have shown great commitment, resilience, adaptability and determination to arrive at this day. For those of you graduating in the presence of your loved ones, this is a moment of great pride. Your family, friends and supporters have undoubtedly played a crucial role in your journey. So let's just take a moment to acknowledge and applaud them for the support they've given you. And likewise, our dedicated staff have worked tirelessly to provide you with an exceptional education and student experience, and your success reflects their commitment. Graduates, let's take a moment to show our gratitude and appreciation to them. Now, once this ceremony has concluded, we will leave the hall in an academic procession, signifying that you are now full members of the Strathclyde academic community, which now numbers more than 220,000 worldwide. As esteemed members of this community, you join a long line of alumni who've gone on to excel in their chosen fields. And this includes not only notable names such as physician, missionary and explorer David Livingstone, television pioneer John Logie Baird, Lady Ellie Shangiolini, former Lord Advocate of Scotland, former leader of the Scottish Conservative Party, Baroness Annabel Goldie, and entrepreneur, philanthropist, and long-time supporter of Strathclyde, Sir Tom Hunter. But also individuals such as computer science graduates John Gianandrea, who's Senior Vice President of Machine Learning and AI Strategy at Apple, and Dr. Pauline Burke, Head of Data Science, Siri Assistant and Diction, also at Apple. Teaching graduate Andy Roxburgh, OBE, former Scotland men's football team manager and now technical director of the Asian Football Confederation. Economics and social history graduate, and by the way, a very generous donor to Strathclyde, Dr. Leslie Stretch, who's former president and chief executive of software services company Medallia. Economics and finance graduate Anne Dovigian, senior vice president at Norwegian export finance company Exfin. Biochemistry and bioengineering graduate Dr. Mark Travers, global head of monitoring excellence at the pharmaceutical firm Merck & Co. Strathclyde was founded in 1796 during the Scottish Enlightenment through the bequest of Professor John Anderson, who, believing in knowledge for all of the greater good, wished to establish a place of useful learning. We've remained faithful to this founding principle, which continues to guide us today as we strive to make a positive impact on society and the world. We're a research-intensive university committed to creating new knowledge and understanding to tackle the challenge of our times. Our scientists and researchers are leading the development of innovative technologies that will facilitate the transition from fossil fuels to clean, sustainable energy sources such as wind, solar and hydrogen that will power our future world and tackle climate change. And we're developing new drugs using new digital manufacturing processes which will provide cheaper, more effective treatments in the fight against cancer, kidney diseases, inflammatory diseases, while also helping our health service evolve to face the challenges of health and social care in the changing demographics of the 21st century. And through our focus on entrepreneurial education, Strathclyde Inspire, we are helping students and staff to create new businesses with sustainability in mind, which are reaching way beyond the university, helping to create jobs and support economic growth. And we're leading the revitalisation of this part of the city through the Glasgow City Innovation District, which is bringing companies, both large and small, here to work together across key research clusters: health tech, fintech, SG, industrial informatics, space and quantum. And much of that is based in our Technology Innovation Centre. And in the near future, we are going to be creating another innovation centre named in honour of one of our most successful alumni, businessman Dr. Charles Hwang, who donated £50 million to Strathclyde, an extremely generous gift and our largest ever, given in recognition of the role this university had in his success. £30 million of this gift will be used to transform the former Student Union building in John Street into a new key element of the university's technology and innovation zone, allowing more businesses to co-locate within the university and improve productivity, develop world-class talent, research, technology, and accelerate inclusive economic growth. And we're also a major player in a second innovation district, the Advanced Manufacturing Innovation District, Scotland, just near Glasgow Airport, where we operate the National Manufacturing Institute Scotland facility, which is helping to grow Scotland's manufacturing capabilities as part of the fourth industrial revolution, Industry 4.0, which will see digitalisation, automation, and artificial intelligence transform the sector and provide huge economic and employment opportunities. And we're partners too in Medicine's Manufacturing Innovation Centre, operated by CPI, and the Digital Process Manufacturing Centre in Irvine, North Ayrshire, which is offering training opportunities, cutting-edge digital demonstrators, and access to expert support on research and development. Strathclyde also works to inform public policy on national economic strategy, education, productivity, and workplace strategies through our various research institutes. And we're training teachers, lawyers, journalists, civil servants who contribute so much to our society. Now, through our Centre for Sustainable Development, our globally minded staff and students are working, co-creating solutions with our global partners across academia, civil service, civil society and the public and private sectors to secure real-world impact and tackle the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And in pursuing our vision, we understand the value of successfully working in partnership with business, with government, and with the third sector to make a difference. And we extend our global reach through academic partnerships with the likes of Stanford, NYU, MIT, Caltech, Tsinghua, Nanyang Technological University, and the National University of Singapore. As a university, we're continually working to enhance our student experience, investing in our campus and student experience, as evidenced by our new Strathclyde Sport and Learning Teaching buildings, and investing in health and well-being services, always putting our students at the heart of everything we do. Our progress and efforts in all of these areas have been greatly recognised in recent years with a host of awards. Just listen to this. In 2019, we became the only university to win the Times Higher Education UK University of the Year twice, having first won in 2012. We've also been named Business School of the Year, Workplace of the Year, and Research Project of the Year in recent years. Strathclyde was named Scottish University of the Year in 2024 and runner-up as UK University of the Year in the inaugural Daily Mail University League tables. And Alison McCall, who compiled the rankings, who was previously responsible for the Sunday Times Good University Guide and League table, described Strathclyde thus: the epitome of a progressive 21st century university seeking to shape and change society for the better through the pursuit of educational excellence and social change, and still a place of useful learning, just as it set out to be more than 200 years ago. And furthermore, last year we were named European Entrepreneurial University of the Year at the EEE Awards, and we collected our 4th Queen's Anniversary Prize. That's our 3rd consecutive, in recognition of our research, innovation, and entrepreneurism in photonics, the science of light. These awards reflect the quality and breadth of activities in our university across all the faculties. But some of the highlights from this faculty include the Hunter Centre. It's a partner in 2 research projects that are aiming to put people and communities at the heart of the transition to net zero. Just Systems, Accelerating a Just Transition, will identify opportunities to accelerate decarbonisation while addressing societal challenges on fuel poverty, sustainable local economies, well-being, social justice, and people-led net zero will develop a people-led, practical, systems-based approach which enables organisations to achieve a prosperous, sustainable, timely, resilient, and just transition to net zero. And in management science, an evaluation report into Scotland's first rapid cancer diagnostic services, published by Strathclyde and the Centre for Sustainable Delivery, found 11.9% of patients seen over the 2-year period were diagnosed with cancer. Patients waited an average of 14 days from the referral to having cancer ruled in or out, and around 6% were given pre-cancer diagnosis, meaning they require further monitoring in case a cancer develops. The remainder were either given the all-clear and referred back to primary care or diagnosed with other non-cancer conditions, 41 and 40.7% respectively. These examples are just a small sample of the wide-ranging activity and successes from our university in the last year. And it's upon these past achievements that we will build our future and achieve the goals and ambitions we've set for ourselves in the next 5 or so years in our strategic plan, Strathclyde 2030. Well, today is a day to look forward to the beginning of a new chapter in your lives, where you will take the knowledge and skills you've acquired during your time here to pursue and realize your aspirations. And as you forge your new careers, the university's values of people-oriented, innovative, collaborative, ambitious and bold will stand you in good stead. I don't need to tell you that the world faces many challenges and uncertainties. And these challenges, such as climate change, demand solutions. As graduates of Strathclyde and future leaders of our society, you have a responsibility to use your talents and your education to make a positive impact on the world. But whether you go on to pursue careers in business, science, engineering, politics, or any other field, remember you have the power to effect change, to inspire others, and to shape the course of history. But power comes with responsibility, and I urge you never to lose sight of the values that have guided you thus far: integrity, humility, and empathy. These are the qualities that set you apart as you navigate the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. And as you step out into the world, you carry with you the knowledge and skills you've acquired during your time at this esteemed institution. But more than that, you carry the spirit of Strathclyde, a spirit of innovation, collaboration, and excellence. Strathclyde is also an institution where freedom of thought is encouraged and valued, an institution exemplified by tolerance and inclusivity. We hope you'll continue to demonstrate Strathclyde's socially progressive values and ethos of tolerance, pluralism, and a desire to make a positive difference. I'm confident you'll do this because you go out into the world equipped with that most valuable asset, knowledge. The Strathclyde degree you now hold in your hands is your passport to success as you rise to meet the challenges ahead. And as you embark on this new chapter of your lives, I encourage you to continue learning, to embrace new challenges. Remember that the pursuit of knowledge is a lifelong journey, and success isn't measured by what you achieve, but by the impact you make on the world around you. So it's with immense pride we see you graduate today, and though you may be leaving us, we hope you'll continue to stay in touch. Let us know how you're getting on and continue to contribute to Strathclyde, because it's through the involvement of our alumni that we can provide a first-class education student experience for you. So we now ask you to think of those who will follow. Finally, I'd like to thank the faculty and staff of Strathclyde for their unwavering commitment to excellence and for their dedication to helping our graduates achieve their full potential. And to the families and friends of our graduates, thank you for your unwavering support and encouragement, and thank you for the wonderful enthusiasm as the graduates passed across the platform. So in conclusion, I would like to congratulate you once again on this momentous achievement. The University of Strathclyde has equipped you with the tools you need to thrive in the years ahead, and I have no doubt that you will make us proud. So go forth with confidence, with purpose, and with the knowledge that you're capable of great things. I wish you every success in the future. I would now like to invite you to join the academic procession and ask families and friends to remain upstanding until the procession has left the building, and then join us in the Learning and Teaching building at the top of the hill for refreshments. And as expected, it's a lovely day in Glasgow, so we'll be able to walk quietly up the hill. I now declare this congregation closed and ask you to be upstanding, please.